Hi, everybody, and welcome back. I wanted to discuss a few things that happened over the last couple of days. One is that I went to the beach for the first time in a long time. So grateful to be down by the beach yesterday. It was a beautiful day. I got down pretty early, so it was cold in the morning. It wasn't like freezing, but it was cold. So there weren't that many people there. It was very few people, very spread out. So I got some like alone time in my spot. And when I got down there, I asked the universe, God, if God could bring me dolphins. Now, this is not the first time I've asked for this. I've told some people about it, but I didn't really, I didn't publicize this that I was doing this, but I would ask, and sometimes the dolphins would show up, and I I forgot about that even in a sense, and I got a phone call, and I picked up the phone call, and it was an old friend of mine. I answered the phone, and after a few minutes, I'm like, oh my God, the dolphins! I hung up the phone. I'm like, I gotta go. I got so excited, like a little boy. The dolphins were there. I took a little video of it. Not that I need the proof, but I sent it to my children. And I was super excited, like a little boy, like that little boy inside me that I talk about, just being that little boy. I talk about in my poetry of just being that little child that gets excited over those things. Like I used to get excited, like on the beach, you get excited by the beautiful women, and then now all of a sudden, like I'm getting excited by nature, and I'm so grateful to get to that place where that's the stuff that excites me. And of course, dolphins are like extra special. There was a group before, then another group came, whole bunch of dolphins. It was a beautiful moment. And then I was still on the phone. I called her back. I was on the phone. And then the flies were flying all over me. And I was showing her, I was on FaceTime. I was showing her the flies. She's like, what's the deal? And at the time, I didn't even recognize, like, what's the deal? I was too focused on the phone call and being at the beach and having a good time. But eventually, I told her, like, it's time for me to go. And the flies kept on coming towards me. And I even mentioned to her on the phone actually about lantern flies coming to me and how my children sometimes will say like kill the lantern flies because they're bad for the trees. And I'm like, yo, they're living beings, bro. They're living. You guys do what you want to do. Whoever's listening to this, like kill whatever you want to kill. I'm not here to judge you guys for killing. And I used to kill bugs, but they're just living like me and you. Imagine like some person coming over to you and be like, oh, I don't like him, just kill him. And that happens in the world, right? With dictatorships and things like that, they could just kill a person. Well, what's the difference between killing that and killing anything else? Now, I understand if we're ready to eat something, there's more logic to that in a sense. But then, like the Native Americans, it would like they would they would pray over the animal, and in some religions, they kill is what they try to kill with like a little bit of like compassion. And I understand that it's a level of like where you're eating something, or you're fishing and you're going to eat the fish or whatever it is, but just for no reason, just because a bug flew on you. So like shoo it away, like get it away. Like if you have accident kill, you have accident kill. Like it's no different than anything else, but to go ahead and kill it. So anyway, I was talking about the lantern flies, and then when I got off the phone, I got away from the bugs because they were by my chair. I went down to the water, and I'm sitting by the water, and then the lantern, I was just meditating and breathing, and all of a sudden I feel this thing, and there was a lantern fly on me, and it crawled around me, and I kind of threw it to the ground, and I let it be. And I was so grateful for the lanternfly. It was actually falling into the water, so I took it out of the water and I put it more on the sand. I always wondered like how the lanternflies get over there to the water, but they come down to the water. That happens sometimes. And lanternflies are very, they're positive omens actually for you. It's similar to like butterflies in a sense of when they're coming over to you. And everything that comes over and every single thing that crosses your path, it's a sign from the universe. It's God. It's every single moment. We talk about synchronicities, or I talk about it, and many others talk about synchronicities, and those are your guides and your angels being with you and showing you. But it's really every second they're with you. These entities, God is with you every single second. So there are bugs constantly crawling over. We're not always aware of them, but they're literally over. Like sometimes on my towel that I'm sitting on right now, like after I sit for a period of time, I'll notice there's tons of ants and tons of bugs all over this place, and it's all signs from the universe. It's all the universe giving you over and telling you exactly what's happening and giving you that signs that God is with you every second. And after the bugs were on my feet, I still didn't want to leave. The lanternfly came. I went back to my seat. The bugs kept on coming, and then my space got completely crowded with people. There was a lot of beautiful women too that were not so far from me, and I noticed that it was happening. And an older couple to my right, and some older women to my left, and then some nice looking women all like not so far. And the bugs kept on coming, and I said, the universe is telling me it's time for me to go. I was getting bit up. My feet are completely bit up. They were bit up before, and then they just got re-bit up, and it was actually even bleeding from the biting. And the universe was telling me, it's time for me to go, and it's not time for me to necessarily be around so many people. I've talked about this, that I was singing and dancing all over for so long, and I went to Times Square. I did it in Times Square for a lot of people. People offered me money. All kinds of things were happening to me. It was so amazing. I didn't take any of the money. I said, give it to people who need it. But I was trying to create attention. I'm not gonna lie. I was definitely trying to create attention, and I wanted the large crowds, and I wanted that audience. And I think not everybody wants that, but I was a person who always craved that, but it was for the wrong reasons. I wasn't yet in that space of full on like seeing God in every single thing in the universe. And now I am, and I noticed that when it's time for me to leave a space where, even though I would like to stay, ideally it was a nice day and a nice opportunity for me to spend by the beach. I just felt that it was the moment in time, at that particular moment, it was for me to walk away and to learn from the universe that sometimes the universe is telling you signs to walk away and to go away for whatever reason, to go back into your own space. And I did, and I went home, and I just enjoyed the rest of my day basically being in my own space. Now, moving forward, the next day, today, and not necessarily when I'm posting this video, by the way, um, probably not. It'll be later when I post this. But I had a beautiful conversation with my neighbor, and we started talking about what was going on in the world and different things that are happening. And I was talking about, and I've mentioned this to my other neighbor, and I've talked this about this to a few people, about the different dimensions. We live in a reality where we create our own realities based on how we perceive the world. So if we're living in a fear-based world, we see the world in a fear-based way, and then everything becomes a little scary for us. And if we live in a loving world, then our world becomes loving. Ram Dass says, in one of the lines he would say when talking about going into meditation and going into this place of meditation, when you start going further and further in, you go from one plane to another plane to another plane. And when you're first learning that, you're like, what is he talking about? But if you ever seen these movies where they talk about people living in different dimensions, and there's multiple dimensions going on at the same time, there is that element. There is an element of that. There's different realities going on at the same time. When I don't know, I mean, I can't tell you because I don't remember dying, but according to many traditions, the Buddha says, you die millions of times. So we've done this millions of times. So there is a way to look at it that maybe we've been all each other at one point. But there's another way to look at it, that maybe we just keep coming back as ourselves each time, and in another plane of reality, and we keep on playing over our own lives over and over again until we get to this place of present moment, of where we're living in the present moment, and then all the timelines can kind of get corrected in a sense, and we're living in this perfected way. And that's what the Bibles always talk about. The Bible talks about, these times of Messiah. People get caught up in this Messiah business, or Jesus is coming, or David is coming, or whatever your belief is, that some external thing is going to come save you. There's no external thing that's coming to save you. You, me, we're our own saviors. We are our own saviors. We are the Messiah of our own lives. That when we realize the only thing we have to do is realize that the universe is already played out millions of times, then our job is to be here in this moment right now, fully let it go. And all of a sudden, the craziest things happen when you start to let go. Is the fears start to come up, because like really letting the universe take over, and letting it happen is a wild thing, like no control at all. And then why even do those videos? Why do those videos? Why do anything? Because each person, when you start to wake up, you wake up exactly where you're supposed to wake up in your trajectory. So the musician may wake up in his music, and he's not going to stop his music if that's what he loves. He's now going to make music talking about this waking up, and going to talk about it. And like Dave Matthews, who's my favorite band of all time, I listen to him every day. I sing his songs. I was singing today, and now I'm on here talking about him. The music, the words I listen to, he's literally talking about the journey of awakening and waking up, and what it's like, and waiting in this corridor and waiting in this hallway. And like, I listen to the music, and I'm like, oh my God, it's like he's telling me my own story in his version. And it is, but it's not to be him. It's not necessarily to sing Dave Matthews. That's just what I do for fun. But I'm here telling my story about how I'm going through this awakening journey myself. And then I'm realizing, oh my God, I can't keep doing the same things over and over again and living in this survival mode. It's like you watch people and they're living in this place of constant survival. They're not enjoying what's right in front of them. And then I know what seems to happen then, like what happens, older people like look at maybe younger people and they want to be younger, but you can't be in that reality. You're already in your reality. You got to stay in your reality and stay in that present moment and just enjoy your reality from where you're at. And the younger person sometimes wants to be older, like the little kid wants to be older. Like, enjoy, each person has to enjoy their reality and stay exactly where they are in that present moment. And what actually starts to happen is it slows things down. They say when you're in this world of waking up and you start to wake up, your time goes in all kinds of ways. It moves fast, it moves slow, it doesn't move in the same way, but you slow your everything down inside of yourself in a sense, and your aging process slows down, and your actual lifespan, it almost like expands in such crazy ways. And they talk about shifting from 3D to 4D to 5D to 6D to who knows how many Ds. The point isn't how it happens. It will happen automatically, and it happens at the exact time each person's ready for it. So if you're listening to this message and you're hearing this at this exact moment, this could be your trigger point of like, oh my God, you're on this timeline. You're on maybe probably the same pathway as me at this particular moment. Now, everyone's going through different struggles and seeing different things. And if you're automatically dismissing what I'm saying right now, you're probably not ready for this, and you could shut it off and go on to the next video. But if you're ready to hear this, it means you're at this point with me that we're on this journey of freeing. I didn't want to be in prison anymore. I didn't want to be in the prison mind. I wanted to be completely free, to be able to sit out here in nature, just like the Buddha, just like Jesus, just like Muhammad, just like Moses. I don't know what these guys were doing, but I would assume that they were basically doing this, working on themselves, whether it was in a cave, whether it was in their home, whether it was out on the street of nature. They would sit here and look around and breathe and know that God has our backs. And again, then it's like people see things after the fact, after you have all the money, after you have all the accolades, after you have the following, after you have all these things. Everyone's like, oh yeah, well, if I had all that, then of course I would do that. Like Ram Dass, if like you saw Ram Dass after he had the book and after he had the following, you'd be like, oh, of course I want to be Ram Dass. But when you look at it, Ram Dass got fired from Harvard. The guy got fired from Harvard. He went on a journey to India. He had no money at some point. At some point, he had $0 in the bank. We talked about it. I don't actually remember him talking about the day to day, like what was happening to him day to day, like the fears that he was having in the moment to moment of like not having. But it sounded like one day, the next, all of a sudden it was good. It was like free falling into the arms of God, and that's what this is. That's what we're doing here, is to recognize that the whole game that we're playing here is to become free, is to not be trapped by what the world tells us. I stopped watching the news. Um, I would say, I don't know, it's a long time now, maybe 6 months ago, 9 months ago, maybe even a year ago. It just happened. I stopped watching. I was stopped watching, actually, I should say even longer than that, but I was like still looking at the news online. And then that stopped happening. And then once in a while I click a YouTube video on it because I watch a lot of YouTube, and that's why I'm on YouTube. But then I stopped doing that. But what happens is sometimes my spiritual videos, it will tell me what's going on. So I found out about that political assassination too because of one of my videos. And I just have to say about this that, listen, people were talking about celebrating somebody's death. I mean, there should be no celebrations on when anyone passes away, when anyone dies. It's very difficult. That every person has loved ones that care about them, even the worst people in the world. There's got to be a better way. My favorite band, Dave Matthews, my favorite musician, Dave, you get up on stage and says, enough with the killing. We tell our children, use your words. We have to learn to use our words. We have to learn to get along. We're all here together. The anyone who's saying to kill, those people are there to infiltrate our minds. The news reporters, the news is to make conflict amongst each other. In the United States, we have this thing of the two-party system. The two parties are fighting, fighting, fighting. I don't vote. I don't vote because I don't believe in either of these systems. The systems are not. It's not them we're playing against. It's like a game against each other. We're not against each other. We should be all together. Except the problem is that there is an element of government and people. It's not communist, not just communism, everybody. It's also in our free country where there's a government that has the elites and then everybody else. We are together in this. There should be love underneath it all. And if you stop watching this stuff and just come out into nature and start saying hello to your fellow man and stop with the killing of bugs and do what you do, but don't get so angry at the other people for their belief system. They're just the reason why people are believing in what they're believing is because they're watching things that are making them go to one side. I would tell people, don't go to a side. Don't even get, like, if you're getting angry at me for saying I don't vote, like, don't get angry about it. Just realize it's not so serious. What's more serious is that we should be getting along. What's more serious is that our day-to-day lives, we should be in our own personal lives, improving ourselves. So when we improve our internal way of looking at the world, our life changes. Things around us change. Beautiful things start to happen. It doesn't take away from the sadness that's going on in the world. There's always going to be sadness. There's always going to be things that are difficult for people and for us to understand and to have compassion and to have love. But to go to a place of unity, like we have to become together in this process, and then hopefully through your own personal journey, you'll start to awaken to realize that we're really all here to. This is a place for us to all enjoy, and the way to do it is through love, telling truth, loving everybody, and understanding that you create your own reality and you can live in whatever reality you decide. And if you want to be in an angry reality and chasing money and chasing, and that's your reality, and you're comfortable, and most people are. That's most people. They constantly want to be in that reality, or the suffering reality where you're stuck in that suffering and you want to milk that suffering. And I'm not saying I don't have compassion. I have compassion for you. Come out of it. Come out. And like I said in many videos before, like if you're watching this, if you're able to watch this video now, 16 minutes, if you're able to watch this video for this amount of time, you're probably not suffering so bad. However much the suffering is, because you're able to sit here and watch this video, and that's good. So sit with it, breathe, let it out, let it out, let all of it out. Thank you so much for being here. I really appreciate you.